Lovely inside ball. What a sleight of hand! Magic from Murray. Pure magic.
Conor, how are you doing? How's everything? How have you been the last few months during this strange moment in time?
Very strange, yeah. It hits you at different times how weird it is. But it's been good. I think we struggled at the start to get used to things, but we were quickly given a program and a routine, so you could get out of bed in the morning and know what you were doing for the rest of the day, which I find very frustrating and hard to deal with when I don't. So after a while, it became the new normal, and things have been okay, but things have been good, but very much looking forward to getting going again.
As much as Zoom has been a godsend over the last few months, I think we're all tired of having these conversations, not having that human contact.
Oh, big time, yeah. We stopped the quizzes about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It got to the stage where people were just sitting there in silence at the end of the quiz, and yeah, so we're getting sick of that, sick of the rugby meetings on Zoom, talking about rugby a lot. So being able to get back and play and get them and have it, especially knowing that you've games to prepare for, knowing that we're going to finish out the season, we're going to finish the Six Nations. We've our Pro 14. Leinster obviously have the European game against Saris to come. So just to know that you're going to be able to do that is brilliant.
What are the big takeaways from Lions tours? You know, for me, I loved going training, and training was always a necessary evil because I just wanted to play games. But there was something particularly special about Lions training because the standard was so incredibly high. And at times you'd almost be nervous going training because these are your peers, these are the people you respect most in the UK and Ireland, and all of a sudden you're living with them for a 6 or 7 week period, and you want to do your level best to impress them as much as you possibly can. What was the big takeaway for you?
Yeah, I loved training. I loved it. Just being able to see lads up close when there's no noise around them, just seeing the way they communicate or the way they see the game. I think you're right. Every single training, there was no session with the Lions I haven't been nervous for. It was always a kind of you know what you're going to go through during the day, and you know how the session's going to go, and you almost approach it like little games. You wanted to see what they were like, and you knew they were looking at you as well because they hadn't seen you play. So I think it was reassuring. The main thing for the Lions tours for me was just the reassurance that you're able to play at that level. I think sometimes you see other lads playing for different countries and clubs, and you hold them in such a high regard, and sometimes you might be like, I don't know if should I be playing with them, or am I lucky to be here? And I think you quickly, once you get the first few training sessions under your belt, it was nice to know that you might belong there, or they respect your. I think going on the first tour when Mike Phillips gave me his first compliment a good few weeks into the tour, maybe we need a beer, but just getting that kind of pat on the back was meant the world, and little things that are said to you always kind of stick with you. So it's amazing experience.
And what about the off-field stuff? How important is it? The having a laugh. Is there a funnier memory than Zebo and Rob Penny and
the dice roll?
How important is that stuff in Lions tours?
Huge. It settled me rightly when we first met up in Carton House in 2013. Because you're very nervous. I remember going down to my room and walked in. There was no one in there, but there was gear on the floor, and it was Mike Phillips' gear bag, and I was, oh my god, I've admired this lad for so long, and now I got a room with him. So being in the room with him at the start was absolutely nerve-wracking for me. And then the first night out we had in Dublin, got chatting to him and just got to know these lads as people.
Well, you mentioned that dice roll, Conor. What are your memories of that? All I can think of was peeling myself off the floor. I was literally dying on the inside.
So good, but so like Zeebs to do something like that. The story behind it was obviously we were playing Melbourne Rebels in the midweek game with a legitimate chance to make the test squad, and I remember being at the bottom of a ruck very close to half time, wasn't aware of the clock, and as I was getting up off the ruck, another ruck had formed, and I just heard Zebo, kick it out, it's half time. And then I kick it out backwards, almost pretty much straight or backwards, and started jogging towards the tunnel on the far side. And I don't forget who the referee was, but he just whistled and pointed that the line out would take place. And I was looking for Zebo. I found him. He was playing fullback in the backfield, and he was breaking himself laughing. So to pull a prank like that in such a big, because I ended up making the test squad that week, but because Mike was injured. But if it was any tighter, or if he wasn't injured, like, you know, that was my chance gone out the window. And yeah, the dice roll was incredible.
So was that a straight? I'm trying to remember. Was that a straight roll for him? He didn't even have a choice. It was like, right, straight roll, penalty.
Straight up, yeah, straight up, and got the phone call to ring your head coach to be captain, which Rob Penny dealt with so well.
Who he'd never met, is that right? Rob Penny had just come in.
I think he'd just come in, and Dougie was no longer captain. And Zebo, in fairness, he was quick. He was like, I think you should keep the captaincy on the wing. He just on the spot made it up. Like, it was incredible. But yeah, moments like that you cherish, because everyone just had a ball.
Who's the biggest threat, you know, coming through? Who's showing the best form over the last 12 months that will be the stiffest competition for that 9 jersey in South Africa?
It's very, and not being political in terms of trying to give you one name. I think, you know, the Welsh lads, Thomas Williams, Gareth Davies has been incredible over the last few seasons. He's going to be up there with Webby coming back to play in Wales. You know, that signals that he's probably eyeing up this and definitely going to give it a right rattle. And then you've got Ben Youngs, who's, I think he's 1 cap short of 100, and he had an unbelievable World Cup. You know, so there's threats everywhere. And I found when I was thinking about competition, and, you know, you got sucked into the Sky or the TV coverage of Lions tours, and they pick their Lions squad after each week, and I found that so exhausting, because, you know, sometimes you'd be in it, sometimes you wouldn't be near it. And you might have, and it's 12 months out, and you know, people talk about it, and I just find it like, I just leave it alone. There's going to be massive competition. The scrum-halves, and they're all different. They're all really good. But for what worked for me in 2017 was just focus on me. But it's going to be a hotbed of competition. But if I started like watching those line selections 12 months out, I wouldn't have the energy to play. I just find it so distracting, and that's really for the fans to kind of have a bit of fun with before it's selected.
You know, it would be amazing to go on 3 tours and find yourself never being defeated. So it must be a huge goal coming into 2021.
It's going to be definitely in my mind and hopefully in my plans. But I think this break has definitely reinvigorated me, re-energized me in terms of wanting to go back and playing my best, because probably faded away from that for the last while for whatever reason. Sometimes it's really hard to put your finger on. Sometimes it's just part of the way it's going, the way the team is going. So just in terms of looking back on games where I have gone well, what I've done over the last 2 years just has kind of, as I said, re-energized me, and I can't wait to get cracked into this season.